Frankenstein is out and people seem to be loving it. Alan gave it a great review. I've seen others that have seen it. I plan to see it this week. It's in a theater near me. It's not playing everywhere, but it is limited release. And I plan to see it. We have notes for this story. Filmmaker Guillermo del Toro says, "I'd rather die than use generative AI." What does he have to say?
Good for him.
Okay, here we go. Guillermo del Toro is strongly opposed to generative AI in filmmaking. While discussing his new Frankenstein film, he compares AI to Victor Frankenstein's reckless ambition, warning that technology without responsibility can lead to damaging consequences. Del Toro does not support AI in the creative process. He says he is not interested, nor will he ever be interested in generative AI. When asked about AI, he replied, "I'd rather die." He believes the real danger isn't artificial intelligence, but natural stupidity, meaning human misuse, arrogance, and lack of foresight. He compares tech leaders to Victor Frankenstein, creators who rush forward without thinking about the ethical or human cost. He warns we must pause and consider where we are going with AI. His stance is philosophical. Just because we can create something doesn't mean we should, especially if it devalues humanity, art, or storytelling. Del Toro believes filmmaking should remain human, emotional, and handcrafted, not generated by algorithms. For him, AI represents an arrogant shortcut, not a creative tool, and he intends to avoid it for the rest of his life.
Yeah, he just spoiled Frankenstein.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you guys think of this? I mean, obviously AI comes up quite a bit on the show. While I'm bemused by the trailer park Star Wars and other sort of retro trailers, I understand the dangers of it, especially putting people out of work in Hollywood. What do you guys think?
I say good for him, man.
Echoes the warnings of Frank Herbert's Dune.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of stagnation.
It's like so much sci-fi is about here's this apocalyptic thing. He took Dune and put it past what everyone else was writing about. He's like, what's the era after that? It's really Dune is so
69.
We can't
so
pause
much.
it though, can we? That's kind of something. That's a Pandora's box. At best, we could let them do it and then have it be so strongly rejected that they go back to human. But you kind of have to have it play its course, don't you?
Maybe.
I think when he says human stupidity, though, he's correct. You're already going to see people thinking they're filmmakers by making generative AI films. Where when you think about it, one generative AI image, and there's no doubt that if you're a writer and you've been writing novels your whole life, you're going to use generative AI and start making novelistic movies or however it's going to work. The problem is if you take one generative AI image of anything, and if you think about what that would be like to actually make as a filmmaker, that location, the cameras, the backgrounds, the people, all of those things have to be carefully considered. They're all decisions that are made. Everything that's in the frame of a movie for every shot is something that human beings carefully considered. You had the production designers, the costume designers, the hair and makeup people, the writer. All these people contributed to each single shot of a movie. When it's generated by AI, it's an amalgamation of stolen ideas from all the people in the history of cinema and television who made those images. And you're just seeing recreations of it. So we're never going to get anything truly new. Not until you have quantum self-aware computing that can bring something.
Then we're cooked.
Well, yeah, I don't know where that's going to go, but it's such a and everybody is lazy and human stupidity. People are going to use it and be like, "Look, I'm now the new Spielberg. I made a generative AI movie."
There's going to have to be some balance. One of the parts of that Rogan Katie Sackhoff conversation where she was like, I don't like that it trains on other artists and blah, blah. But that's how every fucking person, they look at a comic book artist they like, they start copying what they've seen. Now, the difference there is they end up developing
their
own, their own style. And that's the rub.
There's a study of what they like about it.
Right.
What they want to replicate.
And what they bring, it's whereas, look, I'm not tools are tools, But already, why should a kid learn how to play an instrument now when you can generate
or
AI
write
music?
code when he can tell the chat GPT to write full-on code in video games and stuff?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
we're
mean,
advancing as the human race. You know, we got to start like leaning into some of the advancements that we have, you know, created for ourselves to better ourselves. Eventually, we're going to get to the point where we're going to be able to speak something into existence, like literally say, "Hey, I want a cheeseburger," and then poof, a cheeseburger appears in a little,
We already have 3D
microwave oven or
printers.
Well, that's the replicator from Star
Right.
Yeah, replicator. Thank you. That's how I was struggling for
Yeah.
the word. But I mean, we're going to get to that point. So what are we going to do? Not eat the easy bake cheeseburger? That's it? Are we just going to, nope, I'm making my own cheeseburger because I want real food. I mean,
That's
eventually
Star
we're gonna
Trek,
get
right,
to that
Robert?
point.
Where people do eat replicated food, but they always
They
prefer
also
real
cook.
food made
Yeah,
by
I mean, you
humans.
still have
Neelix.
you still have Cisco's father and his
Cisco's
restaurant,
father,
you know.
yeah.
But I would
Right.
say the real scary part to me is that, you know, already we see our literacy rates in America plummeting. And the thing about reading and all of our concepts, all of our storytelling concepts, the way metaphor works, they all come from literature. They're all ideas, and you can see I've been on YouTube now for 10 years, and fandom, those are fandom circles, science fiction, fantasy, and horror. You can see the cognitive reasoning that people are making, even in the arguments when they're arguing if Silver Surfer can beat up Superman. You can see that the cognitive reasoning that people have is diminishing. And it's kind of frightening because all of these things come out of structuring your thoughts around literary ideas, metaphor, for instance. What do these things actually mean? And if people don't have that baseline of knowledge, how are we going to be able to communicate with one another, much less make a point?
It's
Oh,
the
Rob,
George Carlin.
we're way past that, man. You know, the average person doesn't like remember 3 phone numbers now.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
The average person doesn't even know 3 phone numbers off the top of their head. So yeah, no,
911.
they're not reading. They're not
411.
Look,
Yeah.
Like,
And I
777
Guillermo
film.
del Toro-
There you go. 3 numbers.
Del Toro is like one of the last few auteurs we have left, right? I think, you know, it's a dying breed. You know, I think we're going past the day of the auteur. Now
But
it's just
memory
gonna be-
aside,
right now it's just content makers, right?
no.
Now
But
we
what
just
Robert
make
was
content.
saying is
and that's
the-
what film is. Film is just content now. It's not art like it used to be. Again, which is why it's probably dying. So
Well, I just mean overall the way people think.
Right.
Like they don't, like, the reason why kids today don't get irony, you know, and they don't understand like self-deprecation.
It's the George Carlin one that I've mentioned before. We think in language, so the quality of your thinking can only be as good as the quality of your language. And if these motherfuckers only have 10 words that they circulate, the media lit, all the things we talk about, very low. Critical thinking, because how could they think if they have no words for it? Yeah.
Well,
Or
my
if you're
concern.
redefining words that people use.
Right.
You know,
Well, and at the end of the day, generative AI comes from what humans created. And ultimately, that's what art is. And I think tools have been great through the years. I mean, if you think that just taking pictures isn't art because the person didn't paint it, I mean, there's different, I don't know, different ways to look at that. But I think it's a great tool, as well as it shouldn't stifle creativity, the creative process, which is ultimately the human aspect, which makes it art in the first place. And I think people get that, like they can tell if something comes from that place, or rather it's just been regurgitated who knows how many times by something that already existed and thrown together in the algorithm. And humans will have to continue to create art for any of these tools to be utilized in the first place, because it can only go by what has already been created.
And there
For
was a
now.
comment up there. There was a comment up there about irony and sarcasm, and I think humor. It requires a certain amount of intelligence to even understand jokes. And
100%.
So my concern about AI is it's going to make people dumber because they are going to be dependent on it for all
That was
their
my point.
information. And I've seen it. I see these. I have seen. There's a commercial that plays at AMC. It's about using like a Google AI and it's asking the AI to do everything. The person is asking AI to do a bunch of
I've seen
things.
that.
Yeah, it's infuriating commercial. You are going to be, if you can't think for yourself and make those decisions, you're an idiot. We are spiraling toward idiocracy.
Well, let me ask Grok if what you're saying is true.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't.
Oh my god.
I've
Ross, is this true?
I mean, we could say the
screen
same
caps.
thing about Google when Google is all the rage.
Yeah.
We kept saying, well, I'm just going to Google it instead of just being impregnated with wonder and to go seek out that information ourselves instead of we just easily have it at our fingertips. I think it's just up to the individuals to seek out information and read books and do things. I don't know, and discover your inner creativity. But that's up to just individuals, and some that just won't do that. I don't know.
That we have the world's knowledge before us, literally the collected knowledge of everything since the last cycle. We have AI that can create and do anything, and what we use is for it's like redneck Revenge of the Sith trailers and
Oh, that was a good trailer.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's always going to be people that use the tools like that, right? And there's always going to be people that say, hey, what more can I do? How can I go to the next level? What's beyond this? And they're going to try to, think more, have more forward thinking. And there are intelligent people that still will dive back into the, the intelligence and to the poetry and to the art and history and everything. There will always be people that will do that. And then the vast masses will be doing the redneck trailers, and that's just the way it is. If you go back to the days of Aristotle, I guarantee you there were idiots back then too doing dumb shit back in Aristotle and Plato's times, and then there were the actual intellects that were thinking beyond. They
were all getting messed up on ergot, but some people were writing really interesting stories that got passed down.
I'm looking forward to what Damon Packard's going to do with AI. He's like a filmmaker. His sensibility. He's using AI to bring his sensibility out, which is interesting.
Damon Packard, subscribe to his channel. He's doing amazing things with AI.